Hi everybody, and welcome back to another episode of my monthly Twin Cities housing market update. Hey, if you're thinking of buying or selling a home this fall and you're wondering if now is a good time, then this video is for you. Each month I take a deep dive into the previous month's numbers and I talk about what it means for home buyers and home sellers here in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the Twin Cities Metro. If we haven't met yet, my name is Jay Troutlowen. I am a Minneapolis realtor and a bit of a stats geek. So I'm pretty sure I heard geese this morning. Is that possible? Are the Canadian geese already migrating? To me, that is always kind of heralding the end of summer. This summer has just flown by, but what a lovely summer, right? No drought, no forest fire smoke, not too hot or humid. This has been Minnesota living at its best. Am I right? All right, enough about the weather. Let's talk about the real estate market. Much like the weather, the market this summer has been pretty constant. No real surprises, and that is a good thing. After going COVID crazy and then getting the interest rate brain freeze last year, things seem to really be settling down into a more traditional pattern. Will it last? I guess that depends on a couple of things. Interest rates, right? Inflation, and of course, we're having a presidential election, in case you hadn't noticed yet. Now, the last two are anybody's guess, but we can talk a little bit about interest rates. And that may be the most interesting part of this update, frankly. So at the beginning of this month, Federal Reserve Board Chairman Jerome Powell suggested the Fed might really cut benchmark interest rates in September. Finally. Now, Powell's been a bit of a loosie with the football this year, holding out the promise of those interest rate cuts and then yanking them away at the last minute. But this time, Powell's words seem to have had an impact. Even before any actual change in the benchmark interest rate, we saw mortgage interest rates fall in the first 2 weeks of this month by about 0.5% on a 30-year fixed rate loan. Rates were about 6.5% this morning when I checked, and that's almost a full percentage point lower than they were at April's high point. So that's great news for buyers. In real numbers, if you were purchasing a $400,000 home with a conventional loan and you put 20% down, you'd save about $180 a month at 6.5% compared to 7%, which is where the rates have been all summer. That's a savings about $2,165 a year. A family can do quite a lot with that. And I will say, just anecdotally, it seems like buyers are getting a bit more active. Given that it's August and a lot of people are thinking a lot more about going another week at the cabin, going to the state fair, or starting school than they are about buying a house. Now, I had an open house this past Sunday in Eden Prairie. Nice house, been on the market for a couple of weeks. Even so, my open house was super busy. The first buyer showed up even before I'd opened the door. Now, any uptick in buyer activity is going to be good for home sellers. Home sales have indeed slowed down a bit, and the inventory of homes for sale has been growing slowly, although that's kind of typical at this time of year. So let's just take a quick look at the July numbers. Now, there's not a lot new here, so if you watched my video last month, you might just want to skip this and go outside. It's really nice out. So, number of new homes listed for sale in the 7-county Twin Cities Metro in July was up 10% over last year. Great for buyers. But the number of new listings coming to market in July was lower than it was in June, and about 10% lower than it was in May. Now, all of this is pretty normal. Most people put their homes on the market in spring, usually peaking in May or June. Now, there's been a steady increase in the total number of homes for sale. There were 7,708 homes listed for sale in July, and that's up about 15% from July of last year. And homes are staying on the market longer, too. On average, homes were taking about 34 days to sell in July, and that's up from 27 days last year. So even though things have slowed down a little bit, this market still favors sellers. The month supply of homes for sale in June was 2.4, and that means it would take 2.4 months to sell all the homes that are currently listed for sale if no new homes came on the market. Just for comparison, in July 2021, we were down to about 1.4 months of supply. Now, a balanced market is considered between 4 and 6 months of supply. Now, not all segments of the housing market are faring the same. We're seeing quite a slowdown in condo sales. there was a 4.3 month of supply of condos in July. That's almost double the month supply of single-family homes. And condos are sitting on the market quite a bit longer. The average in July was 64 days. As I mentioned, a balanced market is typically one with 4 to 6 months of supply. Although I think if we really had a balanced market, people would be freaking out and saying the housing market was crashing. That's because the last time we had what would be considered a balanced market for single-family homes here in the Twin Cities Metro was 2014. Even though inventory is growing, it doesn't seem to be having much impact on price. The median sale price in the Twin Cities has stayed pretty steady now for quite a while. The median sale price in July was $376,000, and that is up about $6,000 from January, and it's up about $10,000 from last year, so not a tremendous price increase. Most homeowners are still getting 100% of their asking price. All right, that's what I have for you this month. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this update helpful, I hope you'll give me a like and hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more of my videos on buying and selling homes in the Twin Cities. I'll see you next month.